It's really great to come here, I have to say. I've been very sick of living in the city. In fact, I moved to the city and I always thought it was temporary. And then 10 years in, I was like, ooh, maybe I live here for real. And my kids are growing up there and, I live in the city. And it's just, and then places like this, when I was a kid, used to be big. Like, we'd come here and be like, wow, they have their own video store. I don't think there was Tim Hortons, but if it would have been something like that. Wow, they actually have a restaurant. Because the biggest town that I lived in when I was a kid was 1,200 people. And we lived in much smaller communities as well. So it's nice. There's a lack of pretense, which is wonderful. And this next one that I'll do is actually another, I don't know if you call it poem, but thing about my childhood summers in the north. It's a little bit similar to the one that I did beginning. And it's long and you can fall asleep and nobody will blame you. In summer, children are awake for days, and night is just the echo of stones thrown between the stilted houses. And it's the yelping of stuck dogs in heat, or the howling chorus they put on when the light shines brightly and slightly westerly. But the sun does not set, and the buzz of mosquitoes is only beat by the buzz of Yamaha dirt bikes or outboard motors. Or if the wind blows strong enough, everything else is drowned out. And if it rains heavily. Like here we are living in a kind of Africa, with dry dust for our earth to stand on and floods to wash out our worst in wrath of God, flash of water that pours steady from the roof, or seeps and runs into our tents, where feet in sleeping bags have rubbed up against the canvas. And again, the mosquitoes will come out with a vengeance. When the rain stops and the ever-waking sun shows itself once more and shows us rainbows that are here more beautiful perhaps than any seen by falls in the Amazon or over corn stalks in some forgotten field in the south. The south, which to us is just an imaginary land anyway, seen on television and lying in unread books at the school, which are things we leave behind in this season, where awake for days children play baseball but with a sock or a tennis ball, and older girls and boys chase boys and girls around town on Hondas, which means all-terrain vehicles. And this terrain is the dusty streets of Kuchok, or some other town in the true north, where hickey teenagers are smoking in the outside corners of prefab houses or on the metal steps of the arena, which is the forum where in winter they play hockey like the Holy Spirit is found in the sharpest skate or the hottest snapshot or the musk and mildew scent of hockey equipment. But again, this is summer that finds families out of town for weeks and weeks, loaded up in grey-green Norwest canoes or peterheads, gone downriver to camps, to hunt, to fish, to live like princes, which is nothing we know here, except that these men and women with the round of their faces and the fingers of their hands so tanned and the smell of this land sunk in their skin and in their bones are royalty. At least for the duration they are away from town. Away from town, away from town. Where finding fresh water is the first order of things to do when setting up camp with rocks anchored round a white tent warmed by a rusty box stove and the ever-brewing kettle of salada or red rose tea, drunk hot with bannock, buttered, jammed, or plain fried flat in a spit-hot pan. Next to the bed, which is a long row of blankets and soft bedding for sleeping side by side by side by side. Inside the white tent that outside glows yellow at night, or would glow if night fell, on the lichen-painted rocks and moss and berries ripening through July and August into September, to be picked by quick hands and heaped into buckets or cups or consumed with sighs of delight at the sweetness of purple fruit whose juice stains sun-darkened hands under nails and between teeth that are now so used to Pepsi, chocolate, chips, candy. But sigh with delight, all the same and all the more, when eating fresh fish, or up from under iceberg mussels, or rich dark seal meat prized for life and shot on glass calm water, and spotted by the sharp eyes of the boy at the prow. Or else it may be seagull eggs picked off cliffs, over which fly all manner of birds and climb weasels and foxes, foxes that eat lemmings, lemmings which are also caught by awake for days children, who last night, which was not night, listened to long and wondrous told stories, and slept at last under light when dreams took hold.